Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. We are back on the Zooms today with Victoria Kidd Armstrong. She is the owner, GM, CEO, all of the things for Hideaway Cafe. She is a community philanthropist and, of course, an all-around outstanding human being. She is someone I consider to be a dear friend and saving me today. We're recording on a Sunday afternoon of all things so that I didn't have to do a rerun on the show that people are listening to today, Victoria, and break my streak. So thank you.
You're welcome. Anything for the greater good, really.
So I know we're going to talk a lot about the community focus that your shop has, that Hideaway Cafe has, that you personally have. But before we get in the weeds on that, for someone who maybe has never set foot in Hideaway Cafe on the Old Town Walking Mall in downtown Winchester, tell me, what can they expect? What do you offer? How does it work? Give me all of that sort of information.
Yeah, so Winchester is a destination for coffee. We are a community that loves caffeine, loves beverages, food and drink. And the Hideaway Cafe, our positioning is that we are the coffee till cocktails cafe. We're the business downtown that offers a real sort of specialty coffee experience, and at the same time takes you all the way to your evening hour, because we do have a liquor license and we serve an incredible espresso martini that is made with fresh pulled espresso versus a concentrate or something like that. So we have a whole menu that focuses on what you can do with coffee, espresso, and cold brew specifically when you turn it into a libation. And of course, we also focus on mocktails and the full gamut of people who come downtown for a special experience, because that's really what it's all about. All of these are social beverages, and we are a place where we want people to get social and be connected to others and meet new people and just feel like they have a living room outside of their living room.
And you have sandwiches, you have breakfast sandwiches. I can come for lunch, not just grab a coffee and go, or come in and get a cocktail and sit at the bar. You can check a lot of boxes there.
You can. I think we have a great kitchen menu. I love the fact that we also are a little tiny, almost a miniature Cracker Barrel. We have a lot of novelty goods, great coffee mugs. You can buy quality beans to take home and make your own coffee. We have incredible teas, not to eliminate the concept of the tea drinkers. We're launching a whole new menu of chai this week. So we have matcha, you name it. If it is something that is considered a little treat yourself moment, we are a treat yourself kind of place. And I think we all need to do a better job of that in the hustle and bustle of life in 2026, which is not for the weak, as we all know.
I was there on Friday getting a mocha, and a woman came in. They were participating in the Where's Waldo thing that Christine is doing from Winchester Book Gallery. So she came in with all of her kids, and they had their little card, and Greg had to sign all of them. And the woman looked at him and she goes, "Where did you get that hat? I want one of those hats." And it was just a gray ball cap, and it said, "I like coffee and maybe three people." And he
Yes.
goes, "They will soon be here on the shelves and you will
Yes.
be able to purchase one right here." But she loved that hat. And I've sensed that if he had offered her, she'd have bought it right off his head.
Yes, the reason we didn't have one to sell her is they've already sold. So round two is on their way there right now. So we kind of like to keep it on theme. It usually has to do with coffee or tea or cocktails. It's just a place to make you smile. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want you to come in and be like, this place is really unique and different. It meets that requirement for Winchester's downtown, with some place that's unique and different, but with that underlying philosophy of, we are a place very dedicated to being good neighbors in our community and very dedicated to doing good work and paying forward all the kindnesses of our customers back out into our neighborhoods.
That is the other core principle that you operate under at Hideaway Cafe. It's not even just a quality product that you are serving. It's that you also want to make sure that you're a good steward of our community. And to those who may need a little extra boost, whether it's in a meal or whether it's a pup at Winchester SPCA, you have always incorporated all of that into your business model.
It's my favorite part of running the business, obviously, because payroll and accounting and paying bills is certainly not my favorite part. But I'm definitely a big fan of finding ways to do good with what we have and to co-create. This is how I explain it. We co-create community impact and community change with our customers. It's just a little something that's been in my heart from the start. We're entering in our 11th year of having a designation as a for-profit business, so 11 years in. And really, since that time period, I've kind of lost track of the math once we passed 50, 60,000, but it's close to $75,000 in cash and in-kind donations that we've put back out into the community. And I'm really proud of that. We've done everything from helping more than one individual fund the service animal that they needed for their children with significant medical needs, all the way up to one summer we provided meals for every single child who was participating in the Kids Club of the Northern Shenandoah Valley. Wherever there's a need, if someone's scratching their head and saying, we don't know how to fix this problem, whatever this problem is, we are well positioned to be very agile and jump in and serve people who are outside of the ability to get services from other locations and other nonprofits. We have wonderful nonprofits in this area, but there's always a need somewhere that no one can currently fill because of constraints, either in their mission statements or in their funding availability. And that's where we jump in and say, how can I help? It's always a question of how can I help? And if we can figure it out, doggone it, we're going to do it.
The thing that has always impressed me is that you could have taken the route that a lot of small businesses do, and kudos to them as well, which is, look, if you need something, I'll donate some coffee to your event, or I'll give you a discount on these lunches for a board meeting, any of those sorts of things. But you have taken it a step further in that you've really gotten in the weeds on what are those issues. Are there solutions short term, long term? And how can we take what we do here every day and use that as a tool to affect that solution, which I think is incredibly impressive for a business your size.
Yeah, we're pretty tiny. We're 37 seats. So that's not a large enterprise in and of itself. But I think we're very lucky to have customers who actually approached us and helped develop our philosophy, because we have a lot of great guests who are very, very busy and literally have said, we want to help with all these issues, but we don't know how to do this. We don't know where to start. And many of our programs that have really taken off are, I would love to say, were my ideas entirely. But they weren't. They were our customers' ideas. Our One Plate, One Purpose program 100% has an origin story in a customer conversation where a customer said, I have no time to help in this community, but I trust what you guys do. And if I give you $100, can you put together a bunch of meals and get them in the hands of people who need them? That $100 was the seed of how all that program became formalized. We were already doing that work before. It's already in my heart to do it. To serve is a philosophy that I live by. But really, that was the moment where I realized people want to co-create change with us. And a lot of people in their homes have really good hearts. They just don't know where to start. So if we can help them by facilitating some of this good work, we are really, really humbled. That's a key word there. We're really humbled to be able to do it. It's a privilege.
The thing that I also appreciate is how easy you make it. Like, how many times have I been on Facebook and I'm scrolling through 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, 1 a.m. and I see a post that you've made for the bingo card, for example. I know we're going to talk about that in more detail in the next segment, but it's, oh, she's got 3 of these dates that are left. All I got to do is click on this link, and it automatically, of course, because all of my payment information is already in my phone. And it's just so incredibly easy to do, which is a barrier for a lot of people. It's not that they can't afford it sometimes, it's that they don't even know what they should be doing. And you've taken that out of the equation altogether.
It's a direct service model. People fund certain projects that we have, and we always have per project activities that make it real for them. And then we are able to do the legwork on their behalf. And the reality is most people you meet want to help, whether it's $5, $50, most people want to help. And they just don't know how to get started. Or most likely, they don't have the time to help themselves. They don't have the time to make these meals in their kitchens, label everything, drive it over to either one of their community fridges or a blessing box. We have a lot of blessing boxes around town. Oftentimes when we're driving, we see some of the same characters that we've known for years who are unhoused and they live downtown, and we can stop and we can say, hey, I've got something for you today if you're hungry. I started my professional career in services to unhoused individuals. A lot of people don't know that. They think that I've always lived behind my bar, but I ran the first federally funded housing unit, HUD housing unit, for persons who were HIV positive and homeless. I was in charge of being there every day for people who were in this 15-unit housing program and doing some outreach under the leadership of the board for that nonprofit there. That really got this concept of service solidified for me. So I'm excited to be able to do this work and to co-create that change with the individuals who had that good heart. They just don't know where to start. I have the experience to know where to start.
On that note, let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about some of these programs, how they originated, what they do, and maybe give some advice for other small business owners about how they could maybe think about implementing similar programs into their small business model. Can we do that in the next segment?
Absolutely.
We're going to do all of that when we come back. We are on the Zooms today with Victoria Kidd Armstrong. She is the owner at Hideaway Cafe. We're going to talk more about her community philanthropy when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
This Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. She doesn't know that yet. All she knows is that she went to justserve.org and volunteered an hour of her time. Browsing through dozens of service opportunities in her community, April decided to spend her Tuesday evening serving dinner to mothers and their children at a transitional house. She doesn't know she'll be serving a particular mother and daughter who will be spending their first night in this home. April doesn't know that the hot meal she'll serve is the first this mother and daughter will have had in a week, or that the simple smile she'll offer as she serves them will help them realize that things are going to be all right. Which is why this Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. See the difference you can make. Sign up for service opportunities in your community. Visit justserve.org.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. We are on the Zooms today with Victoria Kidd Armstrong. She is the owner at Hideaway Cafe, but she is not just a barista. All I have to say, Victoria, now that I say that, I don't know that I've ever actually seen you make a Greg always makes fun when I'm there, or one of your staff. Have you ever made a mocha for me?
I think so, but I try to do it as little as possible now. I mean, that's the whole point. Somewhere in my office is a little sign that says being a manager is the art of getting everyone else to do all the work. That was in my mother's office when she was an executive assistant for her boss for 50 years. So it's in my office either here or at Hideaway, just to make sure that I remind myself that I am trying to get out of the trenches so that I can get involved in the programs and run the programs. There's a purpose to that.
And you have several of them that you do. So we were talking in the first segment, it's not even just the One Plate, One Purpose program. You've got a shelter pup program. Lydia has some programs that we're going to talk about. You have just the random, when I come in, not part of anything else, I can just pick up a card and say, here, I'm going to pay for this meal, that you will figure out whether it's somebody that walks in the door, somebody who's sitting outside the door, or ends up in a fridge. There are a lot of different programs, but let's go back to the One Plate, One Purpose. You told me a little bit in the first segment about how it got started. What does it look like now? Because it's even bigger.
Yeah, so we had individuals that wanted us to deliver on their behalf. And this is a small town, right? Rumor travels fast that this work was happening. And businesses started calling us and saying, how can we get involved? How can we get involved? What can we do to co-create that change together, that community service together? And I just came up with this idea on a random Tuesday, I think, of a bingo card. I was like, what is a mechanism that is visually common, that all of us have seen time and time again, that no one else is using, so that it has some differentiation and people stop and pay attention to it? And the bingo card is it. In this case, when we say we want to get bingo, we're not just looking for diagonals or straight lines. We want to fill the whole card, because the whole card, each space in the card, is a meal that is provided on a certain date, or it is a delivery to a blessings box, or it is a delivery to a food pantry. The card is designed to create squares of opportunities that businesses or private individuals, because sometimes we have individuals that say, I want to put that money towards that purpose, to have us deliver on their behalf. We put one out about once every 2 months or so that we can make sure that there's dedicated days that we are sticking to and delivering on within those windows and providing meals in our community that people have asked us to provide to these individuals on their behalf.
And to be clear, this isn't one meal for one person. If I pick the first Friday in August, for example, that is multiple meals of the same thing that are going to a place for multiple people.
Correct. Yes. So, for example, we might have a macaroni and cheese bake. So, we'll bake trays of macaroni and cheese, and we get a really good price break on things because of our contracts with our food providers. Then we can divvy up that macaroni and cheese into individual meals and provide out, say, 30 cups of this macaroni and cheese or whatever it is. So, it's more than just a single meal, it's multiple meals depending on the constraints of whatever funding we have available. We are a small mom and pop business. I'd love to be able to do this work every single day for free on my own dollar, but I haven't won that scratch off lottery ticket yet, but I'm still playing. But it also is a way to help us curb food waste, because anything that we have in the shop that is on its last couple of days, anything that might be left over from a catering event or a special event, we're also packaging all that up and bringing it over as well. I'm really passionate. I love this stuff. So when I'm out and about and I find any means to save something, there's great end caps in the local Martins, right? That always has the food that's on its last day. And I'm like, what can I make with that and put in the community refrigerator as part of these deliveries as well?
I think it's one of the things that you and I have in common is that we first love a deal.
Oh,
And then we love a deal even more if we can figure out a really good use for that deal. I had Elise from Bright Futures on the show on Friday. And then over the weekend, I was at Target and her voice was in my head and they had glue sticks on sale and they had folders on sale. And she was talking about this Stuff the Bus drive that they're having later on in August. And I'm thinking, well, I'm here and this is a good deal. I'm just going to go ahead and snag some of these things. I think that's why we're kindred spirits.
yeah. I'm a huge fan of a good deal, and I'm a huge fan of rescuing things. Being in food and beverage, you can hand me just about anything except for weirdly an eggplant. I don't know what to do with that, but you can hand me anything and I can turn it into a meal somehow. So I can find anything on an end cap and I can say, oh, I can take this spaghetti squash that's on its last day and I can make a pasta with some sauce, put those in the refrigerator and take 2 or 3 of those spaghetti squashes and turn that into a meal for 5 or 10 people. If I can get it for $1, I'm here for that. It just is a little manpower for me, or woman power in this case, to make that happen.
So let's expand on the woman power theory for a second, because you have a daughter who is following in her mother's footsteps. She's been doing some of her own fundraising for other groups for several years. I've got several plants here to prove it every Mother's Day. She does that fundraiser, but she's following alongside of you, creating things that she can raise money for to also help others.
Yeah, so this came out of COVID actually, in 2021, I believe. But my daughter is now 13, turning 14. She's a little spicy, but she is truly my most important thing in my whole world is my daughter. And I love the fact that in COVID, at that point, her very first fundraiser was for the Concern Hotline. She said people are really having a hard time right now, financially and emotionally. They're struggling, and I am concerned for people, and I'd like to find a way to help. So her very first fundraiser was at Christmas time, I believe in 2021. It was just a way for her to make reindeer food. She made bulk reindeer food and sold reindeer food because that's a Christmas tradition that we have. We sprinkle reindeer food out on the sidewalk for the reindeers to come. And if you're a parent with a young child listening, you might want to turn the radio off for a second. And then the next day, one of us would walk out and stomp the reindeer food into the sidewalk. So it looked like Santa's reindeer had stopped, but she made the reindeer food. It's completely wildlife safe. There's no glitter in it. There's nothing that animals cannot have. There is a little bit of Hideaway coffee in there at all times. So there's a little caffeine for Santa's reindeer, but she sold those that first year and she continues that fundraiser every single Christmas and has added a Mother's Day plant sale as well, where she uses uses upcycled, recycled coffee mugs that are either donated to us by our guest or rescued from thrift stores. And she puts little succulents in there and sells them for whatever the charity of her choice is. She has raised and donated money to train rats to detect landmines. She has donated to the Friends of the Shenandoah River, the Rainforest Wildlife Trust. She picks the charity entirely, and she manages all the money and the labor surrounding the creation of the products. Most recently, she wanted to help to procure equipment to manufacture inside of these villages in Southeast Asia, these machines that create menstrual products for women in the villages who do not have access to feminine hygiene care. She's got almost $600 that she raised from that project. So she raises about $1,000 a year every single year and does 2 fundraisers a year in total, and has committed to me numerous times that she wants to continue to do that until she's 18, until she goes on to college.
Quite frankly, businesses and nonprofits need to pay attention to how she's making those choices, because she is the future funder for any number of nonprofits out there. They're not all going to be like us in our generation that say, okay, I just want to feed people, or I just want to help with housing, or any of those types of things. They do their research and they are very specific in what speaks to them, and that they think they can actually solve the problem for is what they will donate their time and their efforts and their money to.
This is one of the things I'm most excited about, and I get very passionate when people ask about, is your kids have the opportunity to get involved in philanthropy. She has definitely become a global humanitarian through her work, even at a very early age. I've taught her how to use Charity Navigator to assess what amount of money is actually going to the cause, what amount of money is going to administration. She has a mix of local charities and global charities. It's whatever interests her at the time. We watch a ridiculous amount of documentaries in this household. So it usually is funneled back to something that we watch together that she says, this is a problem I want to put a dent in. I just encourage people, aside from the fact that we're here to encourage businesses to do good work, I want to encourage people to also look at what your kids can do on a small level. It doesn't even have to be big. If they raise $5, $10, $20, $25, that helps to build a consciousness in the next generation of individuals who will care about their neighbors in a really meaningful way. And we need more of that kindness in the world.
It's not even so much about what you're actually raising, but you're instilling in your children that giving back and being worried and concerned for others' welfare is a good character trait to have.
Yes, absolutely. And it's always on her volition, her schedule. She knows at any given time she can say, I don't want to do this anymore. She knows that any year she can say, I'm skipping this year, because giving and the awareness of community service should be in someone's heart. It shouldn't be forced. So it's 100% her choice in the matter. There's some things obviously I have to help with. One year we used wax seals on the top of the reindeer food, and it became very clear based on how hot that had to get. That was outside of her purview there that particular year. But whatever our idea is that we work out together, it's always a fun family moment. And she's always super proud of what she's doing and is already looking forward to what is the next iteration of this. As she's now turning 14, she's getting a little older. She has friends. And so she's thinking, maybe I could get my friends involved to teach them how to raise funds and to manage what really essentially turns into a little micro business, right? A little micro entity, because she is doing the bookkeeping and she is learning, okay, if my expenses were this, that means I have raised this much, and that means my retained earnings are, and whatever it is. It's a way for me to help instill some good skills that she needs, but also to understand that there are other people and there are other projects and there are parts of the world that really need your help if you have the capacity to do so.
She did get a dog out of it.
She did. If you hear any little huffs, actually, the dog is on my feet now, currently having a dream. And so if you've ever heard a dog dream, she's chasing something, very obviously. But yeah, we have Declan's shelter pup program Our house is divided. We love feeding people and feeding kids, and we love getting dogs adopted. That is the core functions that we pursue. And we lost our dog a couple of years ago, Declan, that we'd had a long time. Really Lydia's first dog that she was pretty attached to. And in his honor, we set up a program to at least fund a couple of adoptions through the SPCA every year. And Declan's Shelter Pup program has turned into a means for us to highlight an animal at the shelter who needs to be adopted and could use a little bit extra promotion, shall we say, in the community to get his name out there. We have a billboard in the shop that has whatever that dog is. And so Lydia came in with us one time to pick the dog, to choose the dog that we were going to sponsor for that particular month. His name was Andre. He was about the size of a horse. He's one of the largest dogs I've ever seen, which is why we picked him, because he would be very hard to adopt. She said, I'm sponsoring that dog. And she turned around and she pointed at my dog now, Miso, and said, we're taking that one home. She did get an American Akita out of it, who had been at the shelter for about an hour, which is also a very difficult dog to adopt out. So it worked out, right? Because that's a specific dog. And so now we have two dogs that are the face of that program. It is Declan's Shelter Program, and then Miso is the current program ambassador. And if you stop by the shop, you will see that Miso is the employee of the quarter for every single quarter of the past year. She's very proud of that, but
I love it. And there are things that you do around that program that are somewhat of an expansion of things that you do at Hideaway anyhow.
Yeah, it's just a way to raise a couple more dollars. It's never a ton of money, but it's a way to raise a couple more dollars that we just donate every quarter back to the Winchester area SPCA. People can purchase a dog tag for their dog, and that gives their dog a lifetime free pup cup every single time they come by. We do serve dog beer in a real red Solo cup bowl, so you can come by and have a cocktail on our patio with your well-behaved pup, and you get to take that red Solo cup bowl home if you so choose. Dog beer, by the way, is completely non-alcoholic. It's beef broth or chicken broth with some vitamins in it. Although dogs do love beer, I do not recommend feeding them that.
I don't either, but my husband feels differently, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, every once in a while, I think it's an okay treat, but I'm not a veterinarian, so I play one on TV. The dog beer is always a fun kind of a Saturday afternoon activity, and we love having the pups on the patio. Virginia law says they cannot come into the establishment unless, of course, they're a service animal, but our patio is completely pup friendly. Get that little dog tag. It costs $50. That funds a little more than half of sponsoring an animal at the Winchester area SPCA. So we're, again, co-creating that community change. We're splitting that cost with you. And then for the life of that pup, you come up, knock on the window, we'll come out and meet you, and that dog gets a pup cup, whether you buy anything or not. It doesn't matter. That pup becomes what we call a very important pup, a VIP. We love that program, and we just love seeing everybody's pets and helping to get more pets out of the shelter and into homes so that they can interrupt a Zoom call like mine is doing right now by having drinks.
I warned you before we got on Zoom that Amazon was on its way and that likely mine would as well. But I think that he has managed to sneak in and sneak out without them knowing, because I got the notification he's been here and gone and I heard no dogs barking.
Perfect. Best case scenario.
So before we wrap up, I want to make sure that other small business owners that are listening today know that this is something that they can do. And I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. If somebody hears this and they're like, I have this idea, or I don't have any ideas, I want to do something, but I don't know what, you're always open for a conversation to help maybe guide them in one way or another.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is my second business. I'm a serial entrepreneur. And what I can tell you and anyone who is listening is that doing good work is good for business. It's good for your employees. They feel like they're super invested and they're doing something more than what the core mission is. It's good for the community. It's good for your patrons because you're gifting an experience to your patrons to help you co-create that community change. There is no drawback to creating programs like this other than the tiny amount of administration you have to put in on the back end. And that is where I'm happy to help anyone have a conversation. I'm willing to gift you an hour of my time. We can get coffee. I know a place. And we can talk about what is it that you do. And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you're a business that repairs cars or cleans houses or whatever. Every single business has the capacity to make change in this community. and pay forward all the kindness that your customers are doing for you. And I strongly encourage it. It has made us a better business. It's made me a better person. And I have attracted some incredible guests who want to create that change with us. It's just made our life rich and full. And I cannot imagine doing business any other way. I really can't. So I encourage anyone who hears this who has a business and wants to get involved, or individuals who want to get involved, drop by, drop us a line, send me a message on Facebook, whatever you want to do, carry a pigeon. I don't care. I want to talk to you.
So tell me your hours, give me your address, give me all of the points of contact for people.
Yeah, so we're on the south side of the Walking Mall. We are right next to Cork Street Tavern, across from the Discovery Museum. We are at 141 South Loudon Street, big green building there. You'll see the patio when you drive past. At current, we're open Tuesday to Sunday. However, that is primarily because I had that aforementioned child that I had to get to school, and she is not a morning person, and now she's doing a little bit better about that. So hours are subject to change. Soon we'll be making some announcements about that. But right now, you can find us starting at 9 a.m. from Tuesday to Sunday. Mondays, we take off. We knock off early on Tuesdays, actually. This is important for the whole conversation because that's when we take these meals and we distribute them. We close up at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays and we get that co-created change out into the community. We feel really good about that. But otherwise, 9 to 5 every day but Sunday, 9 to 4. And we stay late opens for things like First Friday or other little events so that you can come have those great espresso martinis and cocktails. And you can have an espresso martini on the patio with your dog having a dog beer. It's a great Instagrammable moment, by the way. So if you're a social media junkie, it's a good place for you to come do that.
And you do Third Thursday guest bartenders. There's a lot that they should be following you on social media to see all the cool, fun things that you're doing.
Yes, we have lots of opportunities for the community to get involved in this change. We have moved Third Thursdays to social Saturdays now. We got a lot of feedback from people who are like, I want to come and support this, but Thursdays are like impossible for me. So we are experimenting with moving Third Thursdays to instead the third Saturday, but that allows us to have a guest bartender in from some variety of nonprofit to share some of the proceeds from those events with them.
I am 100% in favor of a Saturday. I will come and do it again now that it's on a Saturday.
It sounded like a great idea, and I love the alliteration of Third Thursday, but everyone gave us the feedback of, I can't get there in that amount of time. So listen to your community, listen to your customers. They want to have this on a Saturday. I'm here for it. Let's go. Let's raise money together and have a good time.
Give me web address, and do they just search Hideaway Cafe on socials?
Yeah, Facebook is our most active platform. That's where the majority of our customers engage with us. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok, although I don't know what to do with it yet. My daughter has decided she's taking that over because she says that I'm cringe. I got a teenager now, so we're working on that. But we can be found at hideawaycafeva.com and across all the same socials by looking for a Hideaway Cafe as well. And of course, we're open to a good old-fashioned phone call or a good old-fashioned walk-in. Send me a letter. I get lots of letters. I get cards. I get all kinds of inquiries from every imaginable direction. And I'm happy to respond and help wherever I can.
Just like you did recording the show for me at the very last minute. So thank you for showing up, and thank you for showing up over and over again for our community. It is greatly appreciated, and I'm sure that no one tells you that. I know that's not why you do it, but I want you to know that I appreciate it, and I've seen the faces on people that are outside that fridge after you've made a delivery, and I know that they are incredibly appreciative of it as well.
Yeah, it's meaningful work, and I wish that we can make a bigger dent. This doesn't solve a lot of the problems that these folks are experiencing, but it solves an immediate need, and that's where we can help, is we're focusing on immediate needs. My little send-off is to say I'm so appreciative of every person, including you, who has allowed us to do this work and funded these meals and just been a part of bringing them joy, making them a little happier for that window of time.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, just a few minutes after noon, so meet me here then.